All right, let's talk about wine. You ever swirl a glass, take a sniff, and get hit with butter? Yeah, butter. It's a fantastic mystery, and we're about to dive into it. And trust me, the answer is probably not what you're thinking.
I mean, really think about it. That super rich, smooth, almost creamy flavor, you find it a lot in Chardonnay, right? It's one of those standout notes in the wine world. But where on earth does it come from?
Well, get this. The secret to that buttery goodness, it's not the grape, it's not the soil. No, it's actually bacteria. It's all the work of this tiny little organism that gets in there and totally changes the game after the main fermentation is over.
Okay, so to figure out how we get from bacteria to butter, we got to start with acid. Because see, the main job for these little guys is to give the wine a total chemical makeover, specifically with its acidity. The process has a name. It's called malolactic fermentation. You might see it called MLF for short. Now, this is not the same as the first fermentation, the one with yeast that makes the alcohol. Nope, this is the secondary thing. And it's all about changing the type of acid in the wine to make it feel smoother, rounder on your palate. And this really breaks it down perfectly. The bacteria are essentially eating one kind of acid, malic acid. Think about the sharp, almost aggressive tartness of a green apple. That's malic acid. And they convert it into lactic acid. Now that's the softer, creamier acid you'd find in something like yogurt. So it's not just a taste change, it's a total texture makeover for the wine. And here is the little microbe responsible for it all. This guy, Oenococcus oeni, is the star of our show. And wow, look at this. This little bacterium is a serious multitasker. It's not just doing a simple acid swap. It's interacting with all these different compounds, influencing pretty much everything from the aroma to how the wine feels in your mouth.
But, taming that harsh acid is just its day job. This bacterium has a very, very famous side hustle.
So, while they're busy chomping away on all that sharp malic acid, they also get to work on another acid that's hanging out in the wine, citric acid. And this, right here, is where the buttery magic really starts to happen. Just take a look at this chemical pathway. When the bacteria start messing with citric acid, it kicks off this whole chain reaction. And if you follow those arrows down from pyruvate, you'll see it creates a brand new compound called diacetyl. And yep, that little icon right next to it, that's butter. And there you have it. It's that simple. Diacetyl is literally the molecule responsible for that classic buttery aroma and flavor. Chemically speaking, it is the essence of butter.
But here's the thing. It's an incredibly delicate balance. You can absolutely have too much of a good thing, and it can go wrong fast.
See, at low levels, we're talking about maybe 1 to 4 milligrams per liter, it adds this gorgeous, complex, buttery note. But as soon as you tip over 5 milligrams per liter, that beautiful aroma turns into the smell of rancid butter. Yikes, it just completely steamrolls all the other fruit flavors in the wine.
So, if the line between delicious and disgusting is so thin, how do you manage it? Well, this whole process is definitely not left up to chance. The winemaker is basically in the director's chair the whole time. This is all very intentional. They're making super specific choices to either encourage or limit how much of that buttery diacetyl gets produced. They are literally dialing in the exact flavor profile they're going for. And they've got this whole toolkit to do it. Think of it like a sound mixing board. They can pump in a little more oxygen to boost the butter notes. They can leave the wine on its lees, that's the dead yeast cells, to actually reduce them. They can find the perfect temperature. A cooler 18 degrees C makes more butter than a warmer 25 degrees C. They can even use a bit of sulfur dioxide to basically hit the off switch on that flavor. Now, I know we've been talking a lot about Chardonnay, but this whole process is way bigger than just one type of wine. It's actually fundamental to winemaking pretty much across the board. I mean, check this out. Nearly every single red wine you've ever tasted goes through malolactic fermentation. It's a huge part of what softens them up. A ton of other white wines do too, and even the base wines used to make champagne and other sparkling wines rely on it. It's everywhere. So, what does all this microscopic activity actually add up to in your glass? Well, the point is that MLF has this enormous sensory impact. It completely reshapes the wine. So first and foremost, you get a softer taste. That sharp, green apple bite just disappears, and the wine becomes way, way smoother. Next, you get a richer mouthfeel. The wine literally feels fuller in your mouth, creamier, and just more substantial.
And finally, you get a much more complex aroma. The process isn't just taking away the harsh stuff. It's adding all these new layers of scent. You get everything from fruity and nutty notes to, of course, that signature buttery character we've been talking about. So I'll leave you with this thought. The next time you pour a glass of wine and you pick up that wonderful, rich, buttery note, you'll know exactly what's going on. It didn't come from the grape and it didn't come from the barrel. It came from a tiny, hard-working microbe, completely transforming the wine from the inside out. Pretty cool, right?